Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. It's Crystal here. And what I'm going to talk about in this video is some of the plots that you can do in the R programming language with time series forecasting. So the first plot that we're going to talk about is the time series plot, which is a graphical representation of data points in time, typically at regular intervals. It is used to analyze trends, seasonality, and patterns in temporal data. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the air passengers data set to plot a time series graph. So basic time series plot is plot brackets air passengers, or the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import the air passengers data set. So data brackets air passengers. And then after we've imported the data set, the air passengers data set, we're going to plot the air passengers data set onto a graph. So plot brackets air passengers, comma, main equals air passengers time series, that's your title, comma, Y lab, that's your label on your y-axis, is passengers, comma, X lab, that's your label on the x-axis, is time. And then air passengers time series, you can see that the air passengers range from about 1949, I think, to 1960. And you can see that every year the number of air passengers increases. And so the air passengers ranges from 100 to 600. So the next thing we're going to talk about is a seasonal plot. So a seasonal plot is a type of time series visualization that highlights seasonal patterns by grouping data according to its seasonal component, e.g. months or quarters. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, in order to make a seasonal plot, we're also going to use the air passengers data set. So we do data brackets air passengers, which imports our inbuilt air passengers data set. And then we're going to extract the month and the year from the data set. So years becomes floor brackets time brackets air passengers brackets, and months becomes cycle brackets air passengers. So we're going to convert it to a matrix where rows equals years and columns equals month. So seasonal matrix becomes T apply brackets air passengers, comma, list brackets years, comma, months, comma, mean. So we're going to plot the seasonal lines for each year. So matplot brackets T brackets season matrix brackets, comma, type equals L, comma, LTY equals 1, comma, column color equals rainbow, brackets in row, bracket seasonal matrix, comma, X lab, that's your label on your x-axis, equals a month, comma, Y lab, that's your label on your y-axis, is passengers, comma, main equals seasonal plot base R, that's the title, comma, XAXT equals N, brackets. And then you have axis, brackets 1, comma, AT equals 1 to 12, comma, labels equals month dot ABV, brackets. Legend, brackets, top left, comma, legend equals road names, brackets, season matrix, brackets, comma, that's your color, equals rainbow, brackets in row, brackets, season matrix, brackets, comma, LTY equals 1, CEX equals 0.6 brackets. And then when we run it, you can see that this is your seasonal plot base R. And so what we have is every month and every year. So every year is colored a different color, and that's going to be on the y-axis. And then, it's not going to be on the y-axis, but every month is from January to December. That's on the x-axis, and the number of passengers is on the y-axis, and the year is a different color. So you can see that 1960s is red, and that's the lowest number of passengers. And then, or that's 1949 really is red, and that's the lowest number of passengers. And then 1960 is also red, looks like a magenta or something, and that's going to be the highest number of passengers. So that concludes this plot for the seasonal plot base R. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to make an autocorrelation plot, which is a graphical tool used to display the correlation between the time series with its own lagged values. And so again, we're going to use the air passengers data set to do that. So in order to import the air passengers data set, which is an inbuilt data set in R, we're going to do data brackets air passengers. And so we make the autocorrelation plot. That's ACF brackets air passengers, comma, main equals autocorrelation plot of air passengers, which is your title. So you can see that this is the autocorrelation plot that we have created. And so you can see that if you're into time series analysis, so your ACF is on the y-axis and your lag is on the x-axis. So that concludes this video on time series analysis, and we've given you 3 inbuilt functions in R that enable you to plot time series analysis. So that concludes this video. The next video is going to be another visualization, and I hope that you decide to watch it.